Hello, welcome, and today on the BudgetPedalChap channel, we are looking at the NuX Trident. We're going to look at how to use the editor to make a patch using the NuX Trident. So without further ado, let's check it out. I've gone through the liberty of turning everything off within the patch, so we have got an absolutely blank canvas. Let's hear what that sounds like first. As expected, that sounds really horrible and dry because it is a direct guitar tone. So first, let's add an amp and cab. The first amp here on the list is the Jazz Clean, and if we have a look, it is clearly based on the Roland Jazz Chorus. We've got to make sure that the matching cab is joining with that. Let's hear what that sounds like. That sounds a lot better than the direct guitar signal, of course, but it's got a little bit too much top end sparkle for me. Each and every one of the cabs has got a low shelf and high shelf that you can apply to it, so I'm just going to add the high shelf to roll back a little bit of that high end. Instantly applying that top shelf makes things a little bit warmer, a little bit rounder, and a lot more to my taste. However, I'm looking for a characterful clean tone with a little bit of edge of breakup going on as well. This definitely ain't going to do that because the Jazz Clean is a very, very clean amp model. So let's audition some of the other amp models and see what we can get. Looking at the list here, we've got 28 different amps here to choose from, ranging from the sparkly clean like the Jazz Chorus all the way up to big fire breathing heavy gain monsters. We've got amps like the Uber Gain, which is clearly based on the Bogner Uber Schall, and the cleverly named Vivo, which, if it is what I think it is 5150 based. So we're getting a little bit closer with the Tweedy amp model, but there's something really interesting about this one that I wanted to show off. With certain amps, you've got the option of plugging in to a few different inputs. Usually you've got a normal and a bright option, but some even have 4 different inputs that you can go into. This one offers you not only those 4 different inputs, but a number of different jumping options as well. So let's hear what the differences of those sound like. Instrument input 1. So as amazing as that feature is, I don't think this is the amp that we're going to settle on, so let's carry on. So I'm liking this one. Let's see if it can roll off to get those slightly cleaner tones as well. So straight from the get-go, this is the amp that we're definitely going to go for. So like before, we're going to use the trick with the cab to shelf off a little bit of that top end. I don't think we need to go as harsh as we did with the Jazz Chorus. Let's have a listen to that. Yep, loving that. I think we need just a touch more on the mids as well, just to make it a little less boxy sounding, a little bit more full. Excellent, that is sounding just right. Not only with the bridge pickup, but also with the neck pickup as well. It is really nicely balanced. Next up is to add a little bit of reverb to this to bring the whole tone to life. We're not overwhelmed with choice here. We've got 5 to choose from, and I think the perfect place to start would be with that spring reverb. Ooh. That's really lush sounding. I think it's a little bit too much, I'll be honest. So let's bring it back a little. Still really, really present actually, that sounds really good, but for the sake of showing off a couple more of these, let's try out the plate. Maybe a bit much as well. We'll bring this one down just a touch. Okay. So far, I think the plate's actually winning. I was expecting to like the spring a bit more, but there we go. I'm going to try the room, just kind of completionist sake. Let's give it a go. Oh, okay, that's actually... I think they all sound really good. I'm going to stick with the room as it is stock though, because I think it is getting the tone that I really, really want for this patch. Let's have a listen to that actually. Next up, I'm going to add an effect that I always run at the start of my chain, always on. That effect is, of course, Compressor. So let's see what we've got. We've got Red Comp, K Comp, and Studio Comp. I think I'm going to go K Comp, which will be based on the Keeley 4-knob or 3-knob compressor. I tend to run compressors really subtle, so roll off a lot of that sustain. I don't think we need any clipping as well. And slow. It just needs to add a kind of sheen on top of your playing, kind of evening out a little bit of that kind of spikiness. So let's hear that. So we're going to hear it bypassed first, and then I'm going to kick it in. All of these effects can be switched on and off using the unit itself as well, so I'm going to do that now. So this is what it's like without the compressor, and now this is what it's like with. So with that, it just kind of evens out the playing dynamics, and it's something that I like to have at the start of my chain. Finally, I'm going to add a little bit of modulation, something that I can switch on and off with the foot switches, just to add a little bit of interest to this guitar tone. Let's check that one out. So we've got the option of 13 different modulations here. We've got a couple of choruses, we've got a rotary, we've got a univibe, a tremolo. So first of all, let's listen to what this CE1 sounds like. That sounds really good, but it's getting a little bit gritty, and I think that's because it's going in the front end of an amp that's already cooking. So what we can do is we can click and we can drag this to the end and put that kind of effects loop style. So let's have a listen to that and how that changes the effect. And just back off the guitar volume just a touch. That sounds really, really lush, but I think I want something a little bit more adventurous. So maybe a univibe or the rotary. Let's check those ones out. That sounds really good as is, but I want to check out the Univibe because they can be really hard to emulate in these bigger effects units. If that Univibe is not based on the Voodoo Vibe algorithm, I will be very surprised. To top this tone off, I think we need a solo boost. Right, let's add the tried and true classic here. We've got a tube screamer. Let's hear what that sounds like. And then with it on. A completely serviceable boost tone there, but let's see what else we've got available to us. Ooh, the Keeley Katana boost. As good as that sounds, I think I want something with a little bit more character to it. Maybe something that's going to give us a bit more flavour. Loose driver, I like it. Right. So I like the sound of the blue driver. No prizes guessing what this one is based on. I think I want to roll the game back a little bit. So let's have a listen to that. Beautiful. That's sounding good, but I also want to up the volume so it does give us a boost. So there you have it. Within the space of a few short minutes, we managed to dial in a really serviceable tone, one that I would be happy to gig with. This is of course me just scratching the surface of the NuX Trident. There are loads more features to cover, which I plan on doing in a future video. If there is something you'd really like to see me cover in that video, pop it down into those comments below. If you enjoyed the sound of the amps in this unit, but didn't want the complexity of a full multi-effects unit, the NuX Amp Academy might be for you. A video for that is showing on screen now. Thank you for watching, you've been a fantastic audience, and I will see you again on the next video.